It's a hot take. So I have a hot take for you. My hot take? Well, I think some artists need to put a little more energy in their live set. Overly complicated tracks are things that kind of ruin a track for me. Don't stick to any kind of genre label.
Future bass is the worst music genre ever created.
Barber Beats was the original vaporwave. Fuck General MIDI Choir. It's all bad.
Bruh.
Worst album artwork I've ever seen is Green Day's Father of All Motherfuckers, probably.
I find new music often, and I usually illegally download it.
Stuff that sounds good. Sampleless vaporwave is still vaporwave, buddy.
MIDI wave is a form of vaporwave. Deal with it.
Gen Z's the future of vaporwave. I said it. What is your musical guilty pleasure, Vape Bearer?
It's gotta be K-pop.
If you don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream, you are a baby.
Music isn't real.
I smell weed.
I'm Dan Mason. This is Vape Eric. This is FM Skyline.
This is Mesh.
Yo, this is Groovy Kaiju. This is Christ. You're listening to
Hot Takes.
That's the one.
Don't touch my records. Ever.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hot Takes, your bi-weekly vaporwave talk show featuring my good buddy Skeleton Lipstick.
Hello.
And me, Young Shiro. Have we got a hell of a show for you tonight, guys? We, by some stroke of luck, managed to land OG chillwave and vaporwave act Whitewoods. And so we have been champing at the bit. Say thanks for the follow, Brains. Okay.
The stroke of luck was I asked him.
That the stroke of luck was this man can pull. This man's been pushing P, and he can pull. And so, anyways, we're very, very excited about our special guest tonight. But just a really quick introduction. If you've never, I see a lot of first-time chatters tonight. Welcome, guys. We've been doing this for a couple of years. You know, we are here to give back to the community, to get to know the artists that we bring on, and to just have fun arguing, debating, and geeking out about the art and music that we like. So don't forget to light up the chat with questions for Whitewoods. Feel free to have your own side conversations. I've got my mods in here. Thank you. Shout out to all you OGs and mods. We'll try to get all your questions. And of course, remember, try to be kind and respectful. It's okay to have a hot take, just, you know, be kind, right? Punching up is fine. It's no punching down. Couple quick reminders. We've got a official Discord now. So if you hit !Discord, there's a link that'll pop up and it'll allow you to join the official public Hot Takes Discord. We got a lot of members in the Discord that have been having fun, talking about everything from sampling to the best and worst fast food restaurants to video games and film. It's a great place to be if you want to share your opinion and just get to know other people that also have their own fun opinions. Thank you for rating us, Videodrome. Videodrome rating with a party of 9. Shout out Videodrome. Love this community. All right, last couple things. If you feel so led and you type in !donate, you can donate to the show. We only use donations for things like art commissions, like the lovely artwork that we have behind us by Lunitas, and any donations go right back to the show. So if you feel so led, that's !donate. Yeah, I think that's just about it. We're gonna go ahead and start the show off. Of course, if you need any of us to be turned up or down, please just say the word. Skelly's got a couple recommendations for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Do me a solid, and let's hear about what you've been bumping lately.
Okay, first thing I'm going to recommend is this artist from the Netherlands known as Sheaf, S-H-E-A-F. particularly their most recent EP called Intuition. This is going to fall firmly in the MIDI wave spectrum of music. It has some nice glistening tones to it. You can basically feel the, when you listen to it, it's like looking at that math book, you know, with the fun geometry and circles, Marble Madness style covers that they have, and feeling those movement of those objects moving around you and circling around and sort of kind of almost melting, but in a way that feels solid. So this, I wasn't familiar with this artist, but I stumbled upon them because I was just trying to find more artists to put into that whole spectrum of the emerging genre of MIDI wave, right? You know, because
Nice.
we love FM Skyline, we love the other artists associated with that sort of sound, but it's fun when you stumble upon other ones that are also involved in it as well. So if you're looking to expand that, you know, your little, you know, your playlists that include that sort of music and create more of a vibe, I'm going to highly recommend Sheaf. The EP Intuition. I haven't dug through all of his all his work yet, but everything's been really good. But Intuition is a bit, I don't know. I get a bit of an existential feel from it. I get a bit of an existential feel from it. I get a bit of a curious vibe to it. I feel at the same time both comforted and a little bit discomfited by it as well.
You said Intuition by Sheaf?
Yes.
I just heard a track by that.
Oh, you did?
My mic's shitting out, but yeah, and it was really
good, right?
good. I need to hear the rest of that album, so definitely co-sign that recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's definitely it's not just you know, movements and sounds, but there's a lot of like, I don't know, some kind of tension going on in the background of that EP, and I dig it. I dig that tension.
Great recommendation, but
I really I'm a you know. I'm a person who's rather tense themselves, so I kind of I appreciate that in the music as well. Feels sort of alive to me when I have that bit of like a background tension going on underneath the layers.
Thank you for the link, and thank you for the donations, y'all. Caspero Saturn, appreciate y'all.
So let's move on to another genre. Okay, so another artist I've been listening to, and I think people should listen to a little more often, is an artist called Chrylo, Chrylo. And they had a album that came out this year called Supernova. Now, this is a future funk album, but I find that this is not Supernova. What was it called? I can't pronounce it. It's something Pilot. It's got like a Japanese characters in Pilot. So I actually listened to that, and I listened to their 2020 album Superhero. And this is really interesting. So we talk about future funk a lot, right? And we talk about how we split it off between like the funky samples, right, and the anime samples. But there's like this other sort of like, there's this other weird hybridized version of it, which is a little bit like crunchier and more aggressive and a little bit more electronic sounding.
Like more like a French house vibe?
No, kind of, and no. And yes and no. No. This is very different. This is like, do you ever listen to like Rhodes Reduso?
Yeah, I love Rhodes.
Okay, so where it's like,
I love
it's very like it's some very aggressive chops in it, and they're very metallic chops. So
God, I gotta hear this.
It's like that, or so it's like put it in the vein of like Rhodes Reduso, or maybe Tokyo Wanderer, or what's the other one that I was listening to that's sort of like that? So Rhodes Reduso or Tokyo Wanderer, or what's the album that Lucky Talisman did? Mecha Pilot. Mecha Pilot is
Mecha Pilot's. I like what I've heard by Mecha Pilot thus far.
So this is like a version of future funk that's like very like what's the fucking robots in anime called again?
Yeah, like mechas. Yeah.
What's the other name for them?
Or like Gundams.
Thanks, you Gundam. This is like the sort of future funk that has a lot of Gundam imagery. So that when I think of when I listen to it. So like there's like I'm seeing this like emerging like aesthetic / sound in future funk, right? That no one's really kind of acknowledged. I've never seen anyone actually acknowledge this sort of subset of future funk. People acknowledge the 70s vibes, with the 70s imagery, or 80s image, 70s and 80s imagery, and people acknowledge the anime girl imagery. But I think that we need to start acknowledging this sort of like Gundam mech imagery, and that has a different associated with it too than either of those two. Right? It's a lot more aggressive chops, and I would say like if you're going to compare it to French housey, I would definitely like add it to like it's more like a Justicey French housey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not exactly like that at all, but in regards to like the difference between like Justice and like Sebastian, right? Is very very. So the difference between like Mecha Pilot and Lucky Talisman, who did that split together, which is one of my favorite albums, the Hopeless Romantic album. Like the difference between both of them is also very distinct as well, even though you're considering it maybe genre. Like, so yeah, like this sort of like mecha like, you know, Gundam future funk, and I enjoyed Krylo as another addition to that sort of subset. So
Definitely on my list.
I think we should acknowledge that difference in style in those types of artists, you know.
Acknowledged.
So, acknowledged. Right? I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody acknowledge it. I think I'm the first to do that. Good for me. The next one I wanted to mention was hold on one second here. This is good. Let's just go back to a classic really quick, or a classic artist at least really quick, and that would be maybe like our dear friend Otto, who we got on the show at some point, don't we? Yeah.
Otto is definitely on our short list.
Yeah, we gotta get Otto on the show. I was just listening to that album by him, Achikoshi, which is like all like themed after different cities, right? And it's very fun. You ever heard that? Have you heard it yet?
No, is that the Pacific Plaza one?
I believe so. So it's the 2003 album. He had sent it to me a while ago, and I had not had a chance to listen to it, but finally did. And it's really fun because it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like what's the Kraftwerk album about the Autobahn?
I think it's called Autobahn.
It's called Autobahn. Yeah, sorry, duh. It's called Autobahn.
Somebody clip that.
Oh my god. Dude, there's a lot of music to remember. Give me a fucking break.
Hey, you deserve it.
It's called Autobahn. The album by Kraftwerk about the Autobahn. What's it called again? Well, anyway, it's just like another like album. Like it reminds me of like Otto's version of that, but just traveling through different cities. Like it's car music, right?
I love concept albums.
It's car music. It's driving music, in my opinion, and it sounds like each one of the little cities has a different sound to it, but it still sounds like the same theme. You know what I mean? So it's every one of the songs is relating to a different city, and I feel like I'm driving through the city when I listen to it, and it's not like the synth palette changes that much, but the way that it sounds changes a lot. The way that its design changes a lot. So I will recommend that album as the third recommend. Yeah.
I'll take it. Thanks for the rec, Skelly. Good stuff, guys. Check him out. Guy's got great taste. He's not a DJ for no reason, right? So let's talk about tonight's hot take, right? Honestly, I'm kind of all over the place with this one because at the end of the day, like, I feel like the beautiful thing about music is it evolves, right? It changes, it draws from what was done before, reappropriates, recontextualizes. It's in a constant state of flux, right? Especially with the changing in technology, change in culture, change in people's attention span, whatever. Music changes. I feel like it's good to continue to innovate, right? If you're an artist and you want to like make your niche, do that. That's very good. I don't make music, but I support that, especially when you do something that I've never heard before. I think that's just cool as fuck, right? But there's a little bit of like a bitch in your ear that's going, oh, that's been done before. I've heard that before. I don't need to hear any more of that. Somebody's already done that. And like, to me, I say to that person, like, okay, just because somebody has made a particular type of music before doesn't mean that nobody's allowed to perfect it or remix it or put their own spin on it. Like, history's not over, right? At this point, there's probably nothing new under the sun, right? But like, I'm just so tired of hearing people bitching about like, oh, I don't need to hear this new up and coming artist that's just cutting their teeth. This other like classic artist already did that. I don't need any more of that. But like, I don't get that, because if it's good, why don't we get some more of it, right? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's more of a rant than anything, but that's my hot take. If somebody's good, let them keep, or if something's been done and someone's having fun with it, let them keep doing their thing. Don't shit on their parade. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it's good, I want to hear more of it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I hear sound. One of my biggest problems sometimes is that I don't hear. I wish there were artists that sounded more like certain types of artists that I like a lot.
Thank you. Because, man, I swear to God, some people will just be so booty hurt when somebody does something that's been done before, and like, my gosh, maybe it was good and we want to hear some iterations of it, some little, some variations on that little leitmotif. Do you know what I mean?
usually my favorite artists. I can't find other artists that sound like them, and I get frustrated over it.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever heard another artist sound like Tobacco. I would love to hear someone else try and
Tobacco
sound
is
like Tobacco.
extremely. Oh, y'all banned Geolol. Come on now.
Banned Geolol?
They banned Geolol by accident in the chat.
Oh no.
I have been trying to find a artist that sounds like Sewer Slut, that doesn't have all the accusations and all the problematic, and it's just so hard, like, to find stuff like that. So if you want to make some Sewer Slut type music and not be super problematic, please get in my DMs. I realize that's kind of a broad statement, but that gives me a great segue into introducing you guys to our special guest tonight, who's been very patient with us, Whitewoods, who is a beloved member of the OG chillwave and vaporwave scene, has agreed to come rap with us tonight. We got a lot of new viewers here from Whitewoods Discord, so we want to extend a welcome specifically, not just to Whitewoods, but to you guys as well for being here. And with that being said, go ahead and unmute yourself, buddy, and let's get this screensaver removed from the screen. Welcome to the show.
Test. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Hello.
That is a really cool. That's a really
it's an old style toy called a pinwheel. You guys remember these?
Oh my god!
I just thought that looked good. Yeah, it looks pretty good, right?
He's got shades on that are the same color as the green screen, that are the same color of his shirt. That is too cool. What have you got running back there? Can we ask?
Sure, you got The Wizard Rescored running back there, which is
the new album.
Yeah,
Very
it's a
cool.
video experience on VHS and cassette that reimagines and condenses the 1989 blockbuster film The Wizard.
Oh yeah,
or
the Power
a new
Glove.
audience.
It's so bad.
Oh, so you condensed the whole thing? Because I've already listened to the album, which is phenomenal. I love what you do with it. I didn't realize that you actually had a whole audio visual component. You reduced it all to the main points. How fun!
Because there's a lot of fat
rad.
to be trimmed from The Wizard. If you watch it, there's beautiful moments, just spoiled by very dull and long moments as well. And I try to get rid of all the superfluous stuff that I never really liked in the first place. I appreciate it.
Right.
But what I
saw
think
it
is
in theaters when it came out.
Distilled it.
Are you serious? What?
I saw it in theaters. Yeah, I remember.
Unreal. So like,
well, they're premiering Mario 3.
That
was
is
a
true.
big deal.
Let's be
deal.
honest. It was really just a Super Mario Brothers 3 ad, right?
It's a bit. Oh, it was a
So
an ad
did-
for all of Nintendo. The power.
Did you realize?
awesome.
I didn't realize until Lux told me that little girl was Jenny Lewis.
Yes, I did know that.
I had no fucking idea. I mean, I grew up under a rock, Whitewoods, so like, there's a lot of pop culture zeitgeist shit that I don't know, and I was just like, no way.
Well, that's what I wanted to preserve with The Wizard Rescored, is that it is a time capsule of a moment that if you were alive back then and you went to the theater and saw it, just like me and just Skelly over here,
Right.
that was an event. An event. You could only see the Power Glove in a movie theater. You could only see Super Mario Bros. 3, which had been out in Japan for a long time, but in America, it was Mario 2.
Oh, shout out.
And it was a big deal.
Lux
to
just dropped a
everybody
link to The
go into it.
Wizard Rescored in chat. Thank you, Lux.
And that was another thing, because it uses a lot of footage from The Wizard. It's not allowed on YouTube. I tried all I could.
Oh, this is
There's
what
a
you were
version.
talking about. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to post it onto Odyssey and Rumble, all these other places that allow videos for now.
Nice.
So that people can see it from the beginning to the end. Basically, YouTube said you can put it up as long as you cut out the middle 45 minutes of the film. You could have the beginning and the end, and everything else had to be removed. So I was like, I just posted somewhere else. And I was just fiddling with it for about a year or so with
Nice.
this Tachyon Plus Dream Machine. In fact, I can pull it out over here.
Yeah, please do. I've got you in
Please
like
do.
a square window capture, so
Yeah, okay. I'll move
Anything-
it so that
wow.
here.
We love
What does it say?
hardware on Hot Takes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh
yeah,
wow.
this is
How fun.
Oh.
Explain this to all of us.
Yeah,
I'm not-
please tell everybody what's going on.
tell
He's
us
holding
what's
it.
going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it in if anybody can see it. It's
Well,
basically a
it's
circuit bent video effects device.
Oh my god,
Where-
that's so cool.
Generally, you just use these in TV studios for adjusting color, little things like that. But what this guy does is he goes into the guts of it and he connects parts inside on the circuit board so that you can get all these glitching effects like you see behind, which is, I think, a pretty recognizable aesthetic to people that enjoy this type of thing that we do.
Thanks for the link,
you
Lux.
will. But yeah, that's the story behind that. The guy still, you can order stuff from him. I think he's out of Florida, but he's the guy that does it all. He's probably got a bunch of
you
different
happen to
products.
have, actually, Lux found a link to the tachyonsplus.com site and put it in chat. But if you happen to know any more, that would be something that would be awesome to drop in chat. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Big love to him. He got me one of those about a year ago, and that's what set me down the road. I just felt like glitching something.
Pacific Plaza, a good friend of the show, he does a lot of that stuff. And so does Uglotto out in San Diego, the guy that runs sweat.biz. He takes these old, like, 2000s digital cameras, and he'll just, like, take them apart, circuit bend them, and then he sometimes has, like, these exposed patch bays where you can, like, put these, like, wires in to make your own effects.
Right.
He sells them, and it's really cool. Lux just got one in the mail today, actually.
Oh wow.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's probably something you'd really like.
Oh, I love that stuff. It's just big kid toys. That's what I think of it as.
Great
Big
dude,
kid
man.
toys.
So what do you think about what I had to say about people that get super, like, you know, they get their undies in a bunch about people that are making their music, just having a grand old time making their music, and then someone wants to come go, I've heard this before. Like, has this ever happened to you?
I don't know if it's happened to me, but I'm sure people have thought of that. And I did have a take on your take when I was thinking about it, that everybody has something to contribute. If you play music and you want to share whatever you make with other people, it's a contribution, and I always applaud anybody who does anything. But if you are concerned, maybe you have some insecurity about you sounding like something else or what have you. First of all, don't care about it. But the easiest way to add something that cannot be reproduced with anything you can buy in a store is to use your voice in your music in some way. I'm not saying you have to sing a song. With the computers today, you can use the thing that only you have to put it into the music that you create. So that'd be my only bit of advice for people who might have that bit of concern is, you know, I like vocals. I like listening to music with vocals. And every time I hear somebody's music and they have vocals in it, I feel more connected. Like there's a human connection there that one-on-one can only be experienced with the voice.
That is a really good point. That's one thing that I feel like, you know, aside from a whole host of things, one thing that kind of separates, like, the old guard of, like, chillwave and, you know, like, the music of the early 2010s and the crazy stuff we have going on with vaporwave now is a lot of people don't really sing, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't know if you were ever a fan of, like, post-rock or, you know, some of the ambient stuff that...
Oh, I love that stuff too. There's a time and a place for singing, and time and a place for no singing. It's all good. But for that particular concern, you know, you are the only you, and that right there is something unique. It's like a fingerprint, a vocal fingerprint.
Right.
It really is. Yeah, 100%. That's a really, really phenomenal way of putting it. I love the way you put that, man. That's great.
Yeah, wise words from the Whitewoods.
Wow,
I mean, even
so
like
wise
Ariel
words from the
Pink.
Whitewoods.
Even Ariel Pink like did like his own. Apparently, all the drum beats in his early work was his mouth. Like he was just he was just like beatboxing the whole album.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do it all, can't he?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I also had a hot take on Skelly's thing too. I want to get in, but
let's
we
hear
keep
that.
going. Because he was talking about Gundam future funk music, how it was very much a good road music. Is that right?
Auto's album.
Autobahn. You were talking about Autobahn. And
I was talking about the
thought-
Autobahn album, yeah.
Okay, maybe I was confusing about the Autobahn, but I was.
I'm
thinking
interested to
about
hear what
this-
you have to say.
Yeah, let's hear
Well,
it.
it's just
gotta be
my
good.
little version of Skelly. A great road song. I just got this CD maybe a few weeks ago. Is you guys know about Wise Blood?
Okay,
Anybody hear
yeah,
about
yeah,
Wise
she's
Blood?
kind of blown up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's huge. But she's got a song in here called Grapevine, and I'm telling you,
Okay.
put that song on
Grapevine?
riding
Look at
in your
that.
car at night, and
me
you
add
will
this right
feel the grapevine. But
This is,
she's amazing. She's incredible.
Grapevine?
Shout out
Yeah.
CD
Blood?
fans, by the way.
Yeah.
Wise Blood, right?
Wise Blood, right?
Yeah,
And
I'm
she
adding
worked
it
with
right now.
Ariel Pink. She did an album with Ariel
Yeah,
Pink.
that's right. Yeah, I actually don't know. Lux
adding it
said
right
that
now.
their sister is Raw Thrills, another like
Oh,
kinda
shit,
early
Raw Thrills?
hypnagogic.
Yeah, also from
Yeah.
also released on Airlines tapes. Yeah, back in the day.
You guys both kind of came up during that era, and I don't make music, but like I was around. Like I remember that really cool early 2010s era when it was just it was what you made of it, you know.
I was the most fun era ever.
Chris Deone was
Late
collaborating
2010s.
with Grimes.
I think there was like yeah.
Shout out CDs, by the way. I feel like there's no love for
Yeah.
CDs anymore. Meanwhile, I feel like they're the most punk rock form of media. I have an embarrassingly
It's true.
large collection.
Yeah, me too. I love CDs. That's I still buy them. I'd still like to buy CDs
Good man.
more than any other form. I still buy records if I really want to get the packaging, but
Yeah.
there's something about CDs that I'll always cherish.
So let's just get to a question. How did you get into making music?
Oh wow. Well, how far do you want to go back? That's
I want to go back to when you first picked up an instrument. Like, I like doing this.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're talking about probably in the early 90s when I was realizing that there was music outside of Q94 pop radio.
What made you discover that?
Probably because there was CDs. You can kind of take it back to CDs. There was the tapes and singles, and that was generally how I got music at the mall. You'd hear
Okay.
Bobby Brown's new song off of Ghostbusters or something like that. But then you saw a lot of bands on MTV like Weezer and Green Day and
course, yeah.
Soundgarden and all that
I
stuff.
remember that. I remember that era too. Absolutely.
So that started to be like, oh wow, there's other things besides that. And at the same time, I found my dad's record collection from
Ooh.
the 60s and 70s.
Oh,
so
sick.
Okay. What did you?
All
What'd
of
you
those-
connect, what'd you connect with there in his record collection? What really connected with you?
yeah, there's so much. But to go
Which
back
one
to
left the
picking up
biggest
an
impression?
instrument.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
That
Actually,
would
stop.
be
No. Stop for a second. I want to know first
for a sec.
which artist did you connect with before you even picked up the instrument? Which was the artist that you connected with? That one, ones that felt like yours. That's like this is interesting. Was there a
Yeah, I'd like to
particular
know this
artist
too.
or song?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I mean, it's easy. There was a
Oh.
VHS tape of a movie by Warner
shit.
Brothers.
What movie?
Jimi Hendrix.
Oh,
he-
okay.
When he burned his guitar at the
Interesting.
Monterey Pop Festival,
Interesting.
couldn't believe what I was witnessing, and I just wanted to play the guitar after I saw him play the guitar, which is just what everybody who picks up a guitar has that same story. It's such a common thing to say, like, wow, Jimi Hendrix made you want to play guitar. But I saw him play a guitar, and I immediately started thinking about getting one. So that's where it started. I got an acoustic guitar and learned cage chords, and started to strum in my bedroom, and I'm still strumming to this day. It's what I still think the guitar is probably the thing I have the most fun playing.
Really?
Sick.
Definitely. But the when music really got into me was probably fast forward 15 years. I was working at an office job, 9 to 5, the normal thing. I was playing Guitar Hero on the weekends, you play the little thing. I'm kind of enjoying it, but my guitar that I used to play, that was real guitar, had been replaced with a video game controller.
Ooh.
And I remember just, like I felt like I got away from something that I used to enjoy more than anything. And I didn't have to be with anybody else. I could just be in my room alone and strumming a guitar or humming a tune was always just something I loved to do. It was kind of like my private hobby. That's when I really took a big leap and went into this music thing for about 10 years hard. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do, but I left my job and I was like, you know what, let's just see what happens when I stay at home and do this thing that I don't care about money making. I just want to do something that feels true to me.
Yeah.
And it was an experiment that, you know, took me in places that I could never have predicted. And it was done at a time when the technology, you had social media was blowing up. You had bands like, you mentioned Ariel Pink, and you can name others like John Mouse and Washed Out, Neon Indian. These guys, they were making things in their bedroom.
The kings of the early 2010s.
Yeah, and they were playing the Tonight shows, that kind of stuff. And it was an amazing magic trick that I was seeing these other guys do, and I thought, you know, I wasn't very good at anything but just playing and singing. I just like to do that stuff.
Well, goodbye, Skelly, but keep it rolling, bud.
I'll keep it going. But then, you know, so I was like, I'm going to start learning this thing called Ableton Live, and I got together with a friend, and Whitewoods was born. So we'll
That's
pause
what I'm talking about.
Pick it up. But that was back in like 2010. That was a long time ago.
Ableton, yeah, everyone picking up Ableton, that was like a revolution, honestly. You know, just being able to finally be able to play with things like in that way. You know, I've used other music production software in the past, but I don't know, something about Ableton, particularly around that time period, it just clicked with a lot of people. It felt like so much more control too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And hard.
Absolutely.
Was there an artist? I'm sorry, I missed. Obviously, I lost my internet for a second. But like, so was there an artist you were listening to around that era that was a little bit more low fidelity that made you think, oh, you know what? Things sound better when it's not perfect. It has more character to it.
Oh, that's a great question.
John Mouse and Ahero Pink, those two guys, mixed with you know, what they call chillwave. And
for sure.
And it was exciting to hear. I got to admit that, yeah, it was those early guys that really turned it into something that I had to try on my own. And then you found all these samples on YouTube that I never heard before. They seemed like they were, you know, these museum pieces that had been forgotten about.
God, totally. What was my favorite thing on YouTube was
so
just
exciting.
The transfers of old VHS recordings of things, and not just like the old footage of like some artists from the 70s doing something, but it being like under the gauze of the damaged tape being uploaded onto the internet, you know, just being like further
decayed
damaged. Decayed magnetism from the VHS, but then decayed by the digital transfer as well onto the internet. And that just seemed like a very interesting thing, almost philosophically speaking, right? The idea of like, we are damaged because it's already put on a dead medium, right? And then we are uploading it into the internet where it's also being compressed even further. And that just says something to me about memory. You know what I mean? That says something to me about interpretation of ideas in life, right? And just the compression of it. And it's like permanently stored up there. And it just sounds so, there's like a recorded TV performance of like a Robert Gibbs song, Another Lonely Night in New York, that was like, you know, recorded on VHS and then uploaded to the internet. And it's just like so warped that it becomes like, the song's already a pretty cool, haunting song to begin with. Man, it's so much cooler. That version of it is so much cooler. And I remember that was like a big deal for me hearing that. And I was like, I want to make music and I want to sound like that, because that.
A wiser person than myself once said that the like weakness of each form of media is what becomes its like trademark, and what people tend to find nostalgic. Like, I remember like bringing a girl over and watching a VHS tape and be like, oh, damn, it's messed up. I'm sorry. It's all fucked up in this part. Now it's like, ooh, I sure hope it has the scan lines. Like, don't hit that tracking button.
Yeah, you know who the person you're talking about is, because who does that quote, right? You know,
no, because I'm stupid. Right? Who is it?
Fucking Brian Eno, bro.
Okay, good.
Like, that's the quote from Brian Eno. He talks about the limitations of each genre will be the thing that like makes it special later. Yeah, that's a Brian. You can look up. I don't know. I can't. You know, that's paraphrase. He has. That's a quote. That's a famous quote by him. Definitely, you guys should look up.
Who's Brian Eno?
the unparaphrased quote that Isaac is talking about. That's a Brian Eno quote you're referring to.
He
It's
didn't hear
amazing
me.
quote too. Brian Eno, he didn't hear you.
I was joking.
Yeah, that kind of bring it back into the wizard thing behind me.
Yes,
The
let's bring
music
it back to the wizard.
to that was I usually use Ableton Live, but I didn't feel like using anything that could make something sound perfect anymore. So I whipped out my old Tascam. I got it right here because I wanted to show
Did
it
you
off.
record through the Tascam onto Ableton to do some of your stuff?
Yeah, the whole
I used
album
to
was
do-
recorded on
Nice.
this old Tascam thing.
I would do that sort of
That's
shit too.
clean.
You know who goes
Yeah.
crazy, and you know who goes crazy with that sort of technique? This fucking 18 Karat Affairs, Dennis. Dennis like collects. Remember we were talking to him? He's like he collects. Dennis on the show. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Have we seen it again? Is that the one? I have that one too.
I think Hotel Pools
Yeah,
does that
everybody
too.
seemed to have this one.
I have that
right
one
here.
too. I ordered it. I literally went on
Yeah.
eBay, ordered it off because like I had heard that Tobacco did a lot of stuff like by recording through that sort of thing and like bending things. So when I would do like songs like Disappointment, like I would record them through that and mix them with samples and like fuck with the tape before bringing it onto Ableton. You know, if there's one thing I was sick of by the time 2010 came around was like clean production. I was so sick of that shit. Like it was so like I don't know. There was like too many like indie electronic bands doing that sort of shit.
The
And it was just
Bloghouse got
frustrating.
old. I get it.
Well, the Bloghouse is kind of interesting because it was people who don't really know how to make dance music trying to make dance music, which was kind of fun in its own way. You know what I mean? Like Dennis from 18 Karat Affair, he like has so many. He says he's got to start scaling down. He like buys so many different like 4-track recorders to record his music through. That because he does, and he likes to get them because he thinks each one has a different sound and a different like timbre to it. So he like gets obsessed with like exploring one and then exploring another and then exploring another. But so I love that technique is all I'm saying. I think that's such a fun way to do it. And it's such a fun way to like, temper down the idea of it being digital. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and you're
Creates a
doing
soul,
it just for
character
the
to it.
fun of
Yeah.
it, or there's no, the outcome is not as important as the process.
Yeah.
The process of making something on a piece of tape is the reward, and
Mhm.
it's not having this pristine artifact perfectly sculpted and manicured for the masses. It's just there because it can be, and you want to do it, and just do it. And you got that little tape speed knob. That's what you got to get. Just like take the tape speed and warble it all up while you're playing it, and you can't get that effect any other way, really.
You get it any
You
other
can
way.
simulate it, but it's when you're doing with the real thing, you really can't replicate it any other way.
Yeah. I like the way you speak, sir.
We've got a great question in
yeah.
chat. Sorry to interrupt. Treje. Question for Whitewoods. Most
Oh, yeah.
underrated production technique in your opinion? Most underrated production
Oh.
technique.
I know him. I got to meet him at Electronicon. He was a real nice guy. We got to talk a little bit. Underrated production technique. I mean, I could just say what I just said. The 4-track Porta Studio
that's-
242.
They
is pretty
did
underrated.
specify other than what we've been talking about. I just left that out.
Okay.
My bad.
Well, maybe like a Dale Cooper little Porta tape thing. You can just record your, everything live in the middle of the room. You can put one of those Dale Cooper personal
Yeah.
memo recordings.
Diane?
Those little micro tapes.
See, Skelly
Yeah,
hasn't seen
Diane.
Twin Peaks, so he doesn't know who Dale Cooper is, but
I know who
Okay.
Dale Cooper is. I'm familiar with the Dale Cooper.
so what you're saying is imperfections become just like the hallmark of your work. Or if,
Well, yeah, it can be. It
well,
can
let me not
be.
put
It's
words
just-
in your mouth, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think of it too critically or deeply like that. It's mostly just what seems to excite me right now, or this was what I was doing a couple years ago. But the imperfections. I always appreciate the imperfections. It's it kind of goes back to that voice thing. It's something that is unique to the moment when you're recording. And there's a time and a place to cut and paste and edit everything out to make it sound prim and proper. But I appreciate roughness. I appreciate stuff that sounds like it's handmade. When you go to
Rawness.
a craft fair or something like that, it's got the imperfections in the glass bowls or something like that. It
It's
just has
personal.
this earthy quality to it.
Yeah.
And you could use a little bit of that on this thing that we're always doing all the time with the screens and the networks and the internets and things. It's good to have that too, because everything looks so good now. You can get a really high quality picture, you can get a really high quality sound with just the stuff you get off of an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just grime it up a little bit and dirty it up some.
Yeah.
It's
If you
kind
feel
of
like it.
It's kind of fitting that you mentioned that, because in the pre-roll we were talking about our shared love of like vintage Nintendo video games. It's kind of wild how many people, I guess, like our age or even younger, are like okay with foregoing good graphics in favor of like a good game. Some people even prefer like older or like DIY looking graphics, like Undertale, right? Or just like you know, any yeah. It's maybe, I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing or if it's just that's what really matters to people.
It might be that, or it might be just good games transcend any kind of sheen you could attach to it.
I like to think it's that.
Yeah, it's and I think we're also, growing up, when I grew up, you never really heard that stuff. You heard things that were done perfectly. You know, Dark Side of the Moon sounded like Dark Side of the Moon, and like, how could anybody make that on their own? But now with, I imagine if I was in, 15, 16, 17-year-old listening to music that I'm predominantly encountering on the internet, I'm being exposed to a wide spectrum of what we would call recording quality, visual quality. And it just becomes another flavor of sound and light. And so they're more open to it, I assume. I don't know many 17-year-olds in real life.
Yeah,
I just assume, I imagine that's what I would be like if I was 17 and browsing the web for things. And bringing the past, which is gone, into the present, and kids grow up and they don't have that world around them, but they certainly live in a world that was born from that past, like the 80s and 90s, which it definitely permeates all the things that Whitewoods has done. It gives them that kind of experience, a transfer of at least a whiff of what it was like back then to the present. Before, it'll be washed away eventually, just like the present now will be washed away to the future. But at least there's an artifact that anybody can come across. And when it comes to samples and finding old stuff in the early 2010s, I mostly thought like I was looking around and I was resurrecting the dead. There was just a graveyard.
Right?
Literally, do you understand? That's literally one of the reasons why I called my project Skeleton Lipstick. It's like putting on dressing up dead things for new ideas.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it now. It's totally that. It's like Dr.
Pretty sure there's a Blood Brothers song about that.
Whoa. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny that you. It's funny but that makes sense because you're from the same era as me, and like that was sort of an approach a lot of people were thinking about at that time. That feels like a theme that was going on in the early 2010s in general. I think a lot that people who were very similar minded about art plugged into. You know what I mean? And that's how they got associated with each other. Interesting.
And it was also, I think, a collective memory that we were all experiencing at the same time. We remembered
like a zeitgeist.
That, and it was no longer around us anymore, but it was in the form of Tumblr GIFs and
man, I spent so much time on Tumblr.
And that was a big deal.
People around our age bracket, like you and our age bracket, are very interesting positioned to very interesting. You know what I mean? Interestingly, to be like somewhere between to have a very good grasp of the Gen X and the millennial stuff, and like to just be able to sort of have this knowledge of the past that's greater than the younger millennials and the ones that don't have the cusp of Gen X the way that we do, and then also to be able to sort of like carry that forward. And it's a very interesting vantage point. You know what I mean? The very interesting way of like knowing before technology and then after technology.
Yeah, it's like 1 foot in the analog and 1 foot in the digital world.
True.
That was it was analog up until Y2K, and then it started to go digital, and I mean, it was a strange transition. I definitely think of people that were born in the 80s and even the 90s. You know, they were just right there at the beginning, the first kids with personal computers and iPods and things like that. It was changing everything, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that the current like generation, the younger ones in this current generation, the younger Gen Z kids are going to experience something very similar to having one foot in one way of life and one foot in a whole other kind of way of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. They might experience that sort of thing too.
They're the future. I'm definitely the past. I feel very much in the past. Yeah, I can think of it, but I don't know. I feel like, you know, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Where I'm sitting. It's not. I keep up, but at the same time, I consciously just remind myself, you know, you don't got to do everything that everybody
not
else
everything.
is doing.
That's the nice thing about keeping up is it understanding what's happening right now, and it gives you more of a security of what your identity is as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not that, and that actually makes me more secure of what I'm doing.
It's a good perspective.
I agree as well. Yeah.
We've got a great question in the chat from Geometric Lullaby. They would like to know where you are from, Whitewoods.
Richmond, Virginia, capital city, capital of peanuts and tobacco farms. It's right 90 minutes south of DC.
Like actual peanuts or Peanuts the comic?
Oh, actual peanuts.
Actual peanuts, gotcha.
Peanuts. But a funny factoid about Richmond. Does anybody remember Nickelodeon cartoon Doug?
Yes.
You remember Doug? Well, the guy who wrote Doug based his little
Jim Jenkins,
world.
Jim Jenkins, I think. Yeah.
You might know. I don't know his name, but I know that he was from here, and it's kind of based on Richmond, Virginia, or at least the suburbs around Richmond, Virginia.
So everybody in
Interesting,
Richmond,
okay.
Virginia has like different colored skin everywhere. Huh?
Exactly. Blue people,
That's right.
orange
Blue people, green people, orange hairs. Yeah, wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And that
Last name, yeah, it's good. We got, what is it? What's that band in that show? What is it? Like
The Beats?
It's not the
The
Beats.
Beats.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Killer tofu.
Killer tofu, right.
E-I.
But yeah, Richmond, Virginia.
I need more allowance.
That's where we had mentioned earlier. That's where FM Skyline is. Seems like it's popping out there. Little
It's
bit
an
of a hop,
interesting
skip, and a
place.
jump from where I am.
FM Skyline, friend of the show.
Never been to Virginia. Guess I got to check it out at some point.
I used to. I was
man.
telling Whitewoods, like I used to drive down to Virginia to see like Scrams acts play back in the day, like Page 99 and City of Caterpillar, Majority Rule, and then so
I mentioned it earlier, but like I had no idea that hardcore and Scrams, and you said Guar was from Richmond.
Guar's from Richmond, Virginia.
I had no idea. That's fucking cool. Lamb of God, you mentioned as well.
I was from Richmond, Virginia. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I was trying to set up screen caps, and you guys were naming off all these like.
Oh, Strip Sounds. You knew Transistor? Oh, I was a big fan of them. I'm familiar with Transistor. I've got some albums from there.
I've got that Page 99 split with, I think it was Sasha, if that's how you pronounce it.
Sasha. I don't think
did they do a split, or was it the Locust or somebody?
Sasha did a split with Page 99?
It might have been the Locust or somebody else. I don't know.
I don't think the Locust ever did a split with Sasha. Let me go on. Move this up. Split.
I'll
but
find it
was definitely
eventually.
Sasha, right? You said it was definitely.
Could have been Thursday, Envy. I don't know.
Envy.
My days in Scrams and Screamo and the white belt stuff have
I don't
come and gone.
remember Sasha doing a split with anybody though.
You know how reliable my memory is.
I don't remember doing a split with anybody. But
Doohickey Goop, does Whitewoods have a favorite video game?
Metroid is probably my favorite style of game. I'm playing the new one remastered right now, and I'm just the Nintendo stuff. I don't really have a lot of time to play games, but when I do, I just stick to what I've been playing since I was a kid, which is mostly Nintendo and Sega and that kind of stuff. I was much more into games 15, 20 years ago. I was pretty into them. But yeah, I love games. They're so much fun.
Are you a Castlevania fan, sir?
Sure. I'm more of a Metroid though. I mean, I know they're
Gotcha.
similar games,
Right.
but yeah, I'm into all those old games. I feel like I'm one of those AVGN type of persons. You know, the nerd, the angry video game nerd.
Nice. I was like,
all these-
AVGN. Okay. Thank you.
AVGN? Yeah, okay. James Rolfe.
I'm with you now.
Yeah, he's I mean, just people like that. I knew so many people like that growing up that we all loved to play those games and
Right.
got to see the evolution of it all. You know, it's crazy what it's like now.
True.
But that's
Thank
about it.
God there's a lot of remasters and remakes and ports and stuff that are still coming out. Or just callbacks, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, and then there's Breath of the Wild 2 is probably
right.
what I'm going to spend the rest of the year messing with. But yeah, I can only do one or two games if I ever can.
Right.
You guys, I
Agreed.
know you play Nintendo. What about you, Skelly? Do you
I don't play
any
video games. No.
But you played
I
a
have,
video game.
I played growing up. Yeah, I played video games. It's enough. I like to watch people play video games. I enjoy that,
Oh yeah.
and I'll watch run throughs, and I like watching people enjoy them, and I enjoy them doing the work for me. I don't really want to do the work though. I don't enjoy like having to solve puzzles and accomplish tasks in video games. I would rather watch someone who's good at it do it, and I can cheer them on, and it's fun for me to do that. But I don't want to play them.
Gotcha.
We have had an explosion of questions in chat, guys. I'm so sorry. Like, we got like 5 questions.
Fire away.
Lane believes, does Whitewoods plan on ever doing anything live? Performance / concert, etc.
Maybe. I don't have any direct plans on doing anything like that. We have one show, me and Scott, back when we started the band, if you want to call it a band.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, there's a duo. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a duo.
Is it still a duo? Or is it
It'll
mostly you
always
now?
be a duo.
It'll always be a
we don't-
duo. I love that.
Because
that answer.
I was mostly only familiar with Harry. I didn't know that there was another member really.
Oh yeah. No, Scott, we were friends in high school. We played in bands, you know, growing up. And you know, he was the guy that gave me the copy of Ableton Live to say like check this stuff out. But yeah, he doesn't really play too much anymore.
Yeah.
But no, he was right there from the beginning doing stuff. I forgot the question. What were you asking? Oh, a live show. We played a
Yeah.
live show together at a heavy metal birthday party in Gloucester,
Oh, I love it.
Virginia. And we had the whole setup too. We had video projections behind us, and we were basically playing guitar and singing songs over top of a DVD that we recorded as like a playback because we couldn't do it any other way. And you know, it was fun at the time, but after the show we both knew that like we should just focus on recording in a studio and treating the internet as a one big stage where you can upload stuff to Tumblr and SoundCloud. And we weren't really trying to get after that. But maybe someday, you never know. I'm pretty busy now with my daughter and my family. But
You have a daughter?
Yeah, 2 years old.
2 years
My girl.
old.
Nice.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Adorable.
She's amazing. You know, so that's kind of changed everything in my world for the better. But there definitely is a before children and after children moment that happens where you start to say like, all right, my life is completely different for the rest of time. And everything that happened before that moment just seems like another person. It doesn't, it's you, but it's no, that one will never come back. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just, that's nature and it's the way it is. But, no, so, I mean, I think about this stuff sometimes, but I mostly think about like most of the Whitewoods things that ever was done then, and it very much feels like I look back on it now as opposed to being in the thick of it now, because now my life is, you know, more focused on family and those types of events and playing music with her. She loves playing the drums. I've got this rolling electronic drum set in the other room. Every day after her nap we'll go in there and
Oh,
play
that's
some
too
drums
cool.
together. It's so fun. I can't wait
Aw.
to keep it going. And but yeah, that's, you never know. Maybe something will happen with the live thing.
Right.
But this to me is almost like a live thing. You know, I know
This is-
Hell yeah.
we're not playing
We
music.
are live right now, but we're communicating,
Yeah.
discussing
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
And boy, is the
jamming.
chat blowing it up with questions, if
And
you
it's
don't
like-
mind.
That's my favorite thing about this show too, is that it is done live. You know what I mean? That we do this live. People interact with us. These questions are off the cuff. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can listen to it later, but like that's the toughest thing about wanting to get the international guests on, is like I don't want to not do it live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
figure that
we're
one
gonna
out.
have
We
to
gotta
figure
figure that
something out. I think a couple people said they'd stay up late, but we're gonna have to figure something out. Short stuff 888 hot takes vapor. Well, this is to you, not us. What inspired you to make Beach Walk?
Yeah, that's what a huge hit! Wow,
Huge.
Did you see that one coming?
Stupid huge.
Stupid
No.
huge. Did you see that coming?
No, absolutely not.
This is like before TikTok or anything like that, where things could get really big virally. This is just like this is when YouTube is just kind of starting to get prominent.
Yeah, I mean, that song was done 5 years before it got discovered by
Oh, that's wild.
Pyrocynical,
Wow.
the YouTuber. He just happened to come across the YouTube video on YouTube, obviously, and he left one of the earliest comments calling it beautiful. You know, when everybody used to, you know, capital B space, capital
Yeah.
E space, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And after that happened, I followed him, and he started using the song in his shows, and that's how it started. But when that song came out, Scott sent me the song. He sent me a demo of it. It sounded like what we were doing with another one. Be Home Free was another song that we were doing at the time. And it was just this thing that we were both kind of excited to participate in. It was something we'd never been able to produce, because we would just play, you know, garage rock, you know, the program Garage Band. That's what we
Yeah.
were doing all that time. But then when we started doing stuff on laptops, it was more of a studio style. And I think he got the song done sometime in the summer, and I put together a collage video of all of these snippets that I had found on YouTube and Tumblrs and places. And that was the one that just started it all. It was the combination of the song and the visuals that is probably why it gets lumped in with the Vaporwave title.
Yeah.
No, you can't. It was luck. It was just luck. The algorithm somehow got the song to the right guy, and then fate took over from there. No one knows when that stuff's going to happen.
It
But,
was the
you know,
Wild West back then, that's for sure.
Yeah,
There was no Spotify, there were no algorithms. Maybe there were, but it was all tiny mixtapes and
I miss all the blogs.
Tumblr. Yeah.
That was nice.
That was our goal in those early days. We wanted
Yeah,
to
it
get on
was.
Gorilla
Get a
versus Bear or something.
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
literally thinking Gorilla versus Bear, but
Brooklyn
yeah.
Vegan.
Brooklyn, yeah,
Tiny
those guys.
mixtapes. Mhm. But like that
That's
was
how it happened.
But there were all kinds of little blogs too. Like it was amazing that like I still have them all the links for them saved. I remember I saved anytime someone wrote nice press about me, I copied it, saved it into my notepad. I have this like Sonic Bids like account where I just saved all my press, and like I could get so much press back then. I have like you know like several people taking the time to write nice things about you and to discuss your music and to post it on the internet. You know, like I was what a fun time. That's not now. It's just Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
That's just Spotify official spot. Now everyone's just like gotta get on the 2 official Spotify playlists that we might qualify for.
Yeah, times change.
Sucks,
We
man.
gotta-
It was nice that people would talk about you. That was such a beautiful thing. That was my big goal when I first started Skeleton Lipstick. Was like I wanted to have one person write about me, and then anything else that happened to me after that, I was going to consider extra. You know what I mean? And I got like one like first blog that like wrote entry about like my first EP that came out, and I was like, everything else is cool now.
that was me.
It was not.
Well, I
you,
wasn't
it
the
was,
first
you
blog,
were
but
one of the
I was the
first
guy
one.
that wrote
It was,
about. I was a blogger back in the day, Whitewoods.
It was like a blog called Secret Girls, and they like wrote like a little nice thing about one of my songs or something. It was pretty fun.
We got a
And then
great
after
question in chat from Strip Silence. It's a favorite that we have begun to ask every guest. If you had to pick the order of importance If you could rank them in order, track names, album art, music, what would your ranking be?
Well, I think I'd go with probably music, then album art, then track names. But
Yeah, I figured you'd be a music.
I could
first
change my
guy.
mind tomorrow.
You could. I'm gonna grab another drink. I'll be right back, fellas.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What?
the album art is something special. It's pretty important too, I think.
What's your songwriting flow like? How do you do it? What do you start with? Where do you use samples in any of your stuff, or is it all just warped? Do you use samples and synthesizers, or is it what do you use mostly?
I will use anything. I'll start with samples. I won't start with samples. It could start with words. I like a lot of words was how I got into the music.
Really?
In the early years, was I would just do a lot of writing in rhyme, and want to put some music to it. It can happen any way. It could be happening anyway, literally.
Do you start with so you don't like, do you start with a melody sometimes, or what is it? How's that happen? Sure. Interesting.
Well, there's not one particular way to do anything really.
No.
It's just about whatever grabs your ear in the moment and following that until you want to abandon it and move on to something new. When all else fails, I can sit in front of a keyboard or a guitar and something might come to me. But I gotta admit that I did a lot more of it in the past than I do now. But I still make a little bit of time every day to get in that headspace. It's kind of an addiction. But yeah, we were just talking about how you come up with things. Nobody really knows, but it's always exciting when it happens.
That's true.
Well, Syllabus has a really good question that kind of relates to that. Syllabus wants to know if you have any strange videos that you really love. Like stuff you might find on an unlabeled VHS tape or something like that. Great question, Syllabus.
Yeah, that really makes me dive deep. Strange video stuff on a VHS tape. I don't know why this is popping in my head, but those Chris Cunningham Aphex Twin videos?
Yeah, Rubber Johnny.
That shit's creepy.
Creepy, yeah. I started. That's what popped in my head first.
Perfect for Aphex Twin. Great answer.
No, but yeah, anything really. I like commercials a lot. I know that.
Yeah, so does Lux. She'll download whole commercial blocks. It's unreal.
Yeah, shout out to 80s Commercial Vault. That guy, he's probably still doing it to this day. He's put up so many great blocks of commercials. But you can really appreciate how important television was in those years.
Yeah.
It was the internet or something. It was just like everything went into those commercials, especially, kids commercials, Nickelodeon and MTV and that kind of stuff. But yeah, VHS tapes, I still like playing VCR movies and things like that.
Nice.
I got this converter downstairs on my normal TV where you can just plug a VCR into an HDMI port, and I've been watching old videotapes of like Woodstock '94 concert and Radiohead concert.
Okay.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Amy, we like to watch concerts. We go to concerts and we like watching concerts too. I appreciate live shows a whole lot. I love live shows.
Sick. I have an old VHS copy of, it's not even a copy, it's like somebody taped the old Rankin Bass Wind in the Willows off, which still is one of my favorite kids movies. It's just so fantastic. It's like a Don Bluth almost, and it has all the commercials in between it. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it next time I go home.
Oh yeah, that stuff's great.
We have a person who has asked the same question twice, so we're gonna get that one out of the way really quick. Afternoon Walk wants to know what some of your favorite vaporwave acts that involve singing are.
Well, I saw Dan Mason at the first Electronicon, and that was impressive.
It's a good one.
I don't remember anybody else singing except George Clanton sang and
Right.
Negative Gemini. They sang too. As far as other singers go, I'm drawing. I can't really think of many. Do you guys have any suggestions?
That might have been
about people
it.
sing?
Well, you know,
Okay.
Skelly sings.
I sing
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes
Not all of
listen to
them.
you guys talk about stuff. I definitely feel like I don't know very many people who listen to the stuff or the artists. I have a handful that I'm aware of, but I can't say that I'm very plugged in to to everybody. When I go to Electronicon, I'm literally discovering everything at that place.
Well,
I don't-
that's
I don't know
cool.
anything at all.
Do you mind
Oh,
telling
yeah.
us about some of like your favorite moments at Electronicon 3 maybe, because that was the most recent
Yeah.
one?
Well, the Luxury Elite show was probably
how
the main
fun was
reason
that?
I wanted
Fucking
to go.
astounding, right?
How fun.
Yeah, it was that room. My God, that was a hard. That was a warm room. I know that she must have. She remembers that room fondly. But no, that was enough to get everybody out to see what that was going to be like. That was a very
Right.
memorable show. I definitely remember that one. And St. Pepsi's set, which I saw St. Pepsi at the. Did he play the first one? I think so, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I believe so.
yeah. But that second one, where he was outside, I don't know, it was just one of those magic moments I remember. I just felt, you had these peak memories from the event, and that was just one that stuck out. It was just everybody. It was just like a good vibe in the air. That's one of the things about live concerts that you just can never really replicate. There's something in the room. It's not necessarily all about the performer. It's about the audience and the performer vibing off of one another. And
Agreed.
You got that moment. But no, it was a blast. It was so much fun. Talking to people, standing in line for a long time for food.
Oh my
And,
God, you actually got food?
No,
Congratulations.
I watch people. No, I just watch people. I brought
Right.
like a protein bar with me.
Nice.
I don't know. But the
I subsisted on a beer all day.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, it
shout
was,
out Indie Advent for his leftovers.
Yeah.
Or it might
Man,
have
it was a
been
good
Data
show.
Girl. One of those.
One of those.
And it was also the tape swap was a really fun time to see
my
everybody in that place.
I low-key liked it better. Hot take.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a DIY venue. You got to appreciate everybody that came out to meet and greet, and it was tons of fun. They're doing another one, right? I heard something about Europe.
I don't think anything's been officially announced, but there's some rumblings.
Okay, I don't know where I heard that from, but that's.
I think that there's
fun.
definitely like a mini like a showcase for them at one of the European music festivals coming up. And I wouldn't say it's
then I
like
must have
exactly
been.
Electronicon, maybe I'm getting this incorrect as well though, but maybe it's like
Yeah.
they're gonna have
You
their
guys
own
know
little
more than me.
showcase there
Okay, that's
as
probably,
part of.
that's probably it.
as part
Oh,
of
you guys are
something
talking
else.
about the Primavera. My bad.
Primavera.
I thought you were
That's
talking
what it
about
was, Primavera.
Yeah,
there's some stuff in the works, but y'all are talking about the Primavera announced show. Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, that's
For
what
sure.
I heard. I try and just keep up with the big headlines, but I don't really
Yeah.
get into the weeds too much.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, you can only get so much FOMO. We got a great question again from Geometric Lullaby. They said, I need Whitewoods' take on sample use. Complete answer, be honest and real.
Let's see. I think the age of copyright is over. I know that you can't, do anything you want to and get away with it on the internet like you could in the 10, 15 years ago. But
True.
just forget about caring whether something is sampled or not and whether you have permission. I know that you're supposed to ask permission on things.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I prefer the no rules. I beg for forgiveness after it happens. Whether,
Yeah, easier
rather
to
than
ask for forgiveness.
But no, samples are great. I don't understand. I hope that people sample Whitewoods. I want that would be great. I would love to hear people sample especially off of the Wizard Rescored, which is all instrumental stuff. I'm sure there's some snippets in there that somebody could do something with. But once you got Ableton Live and those sampling machines like the Roland SPs, 404s, that kind of stuff, it's all of a sudden it's another instrument. And to deny yourself the ability to play another instrument, you might be missing out on some fun. But it's up to you. There are rules, there are laws, but I like to pretend like it doesn't matter.
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, Young Bay is playing shows with Maddie on. He samples like a motherfucker, so
Yep.
Well, there you go. Just, I don't know. Is it controversial? Is it a controversial?
Well,
thing,
I
sampling?
mean,
Thing to talk about.
I mean, listen. In every scene, look, you got like vegans and you got like fresh vegans that don't cook anything. Like everybody has a way to one up each other. You know what I mean?
That's true.
We got. I'm sorry, I keep pitching these chat questions, but
The chat
boy, they
questions.
love you. They're eating you up.
Yeah.
Skelly, feel free to interrupt.
No,
Lux,
I'm looking at these chat questions too.
they're wild.
Yeah.
Lux says, I actually skipped a question, unfortunately. I don't remember who the original asker was, but they really want to know if they're going to see Spaceship Earth get reissued on vinyl or on cassette. Lux specifically would like to know.
Yeah, that would be good. I think this is the 10th year of that. John over at Business Casual, he reached out over SoundCloud back in 2013 and suggested
Shout out, John.
that shout out John.
He was
Suggested that
in the chat earlier today too.
Oh yeah,
He was in the chat earlier.
he was
Yeah, he
just
was.
like,
He dipped in for a minute.
get some songs together and put out that album, and that was 10 years ago. So there's a possibility that later in the year there could be a 10th anniversary vinyl Spaceship Earth. Last year I did the first ever CD release of Spaceship Earth, and I just did that out of this room, shipping 100 copies. That was the first time I'd ever done something like that, and it was a learning experience, and it was a rewarding experience, and I think people liked it. So it could be something like that done later on in the year. Maybe I know that the guys over at My Pet Flamingo were Twitter messaging me about it. So if you guys really want that, talk to them, and they'll let them know that you want to buy it, and then maybe they'll make it.
That's a great answer, man. I honestly think that the chat is excited to hear that. Comma Trey J, another question. Craziest sample flip. I don't know if they're asking about your craziest sample flip, or like probably you.
Yeah,
I assume it
probably you. There is a song called Toasterville.
Toasterville.
I got it off of this 1992 Desert Storm documentary on TV.
Wow.
Nice.
I took like this Kenny G saxophone sample, and I looped it over and over and over again, and I took these vocal snippets from the documentary of some soldiers and some Hollywood celebrities, and just mixed it all into this one track. So I think that was a pretty crazy sample flip.
I saw a question from Silvus asking any advice for trying to learn instruments.
Well,
Thank
depending
you,
on the
Scully.
instrument, I think if you want to learn an instrument, most people don't think of it, but your ear is an instrument, and the amount of tutorials and theory videos that are on YouTube for free and on other platforms, I'm sure, they're so numerous and helpful that if you can learn how to play your ear, that's going to translate into anything else that you pick up, whether it be a string instrument or a keyboard or what have you. A little bit of theory is good. My ability in music theory is highly, there's like a ceiling to my abilities, but I'm always curious to know more and to learn more. And I've found that basically through these YouTube guys. I'll shout out David Bennett Piano. He's got a lot of really good stuff out there. He does a lot of good theory stuff. Rick Beato's another good music teacher online. So that would be my recommendation that I would push to anybody that's really wants to start doing anything on music, or just get something like a sampler, or download Fruity Loops or whatever people like to play on and make noise. Start by making noise. I remember I started really, if you want to go back even further, Skelly, than Jimi Hendrix in the 7th grade. I remember going over to my next door neighbor's house, and in his basement he had one of those Fisher-Price cassette recorders where you could record your voice and hear it played back for the first time. And we would just sit in there and make fart sounds with our mouth. It'd be
right.
I can't do it. Doing stuff in this and playing it back over and over again and laughing our asses off at stuff like that. So be goofy. It's fun. You don't need to be too serious about it. That was a weird thing I just did. I don't know, like making it fun.
No, that's. I envy anybody that can remember their childhood, man. For some reason, it's just
those are the
tabula
highlights.
rasa for
Farting
me.
into a cassette recorder, yeah. Tabula rasa. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Blank slate.
Yeah, man. Memory sucks. Laggy McLagan Pants wants to know if you have a favorite live show. You mentioned you like live shows, and I really want to know this too. Some of your favorite shows.
Oh, God, there's so many. I guess probably the most epic live show that I ever got to see was in 2000. Me and my now wife, but back then we were just getting to know each other. We kind of had our first date driving up to New York from Richmond at the chance of getting to go see Radiohead play the Roseland Ballroom during their Kid A release week.
What?
And we didn't know. We tried to get tickets through our computers, but they sold out so fast. And this was back. This is only OK Computer was around, and this new album was coming out. It leaked about a month and a half earlier, so we were listening to it. And we went up there and we stood in line. We were the first people in line. We didn't have tickets. And we just stayed there long enough. And I don't know how it happened, but a miracle came down and we got 2 tickets. We got to the front row of them playing that one show where they played Saturday Night Live later in that week, where they had a brass band to play the national anthem song. And it was just
that's too cool.
It was just so unbelievable that we had we dreamed like it could happen, but it seems impossible. And then you get there and the dream happens.
Amazing.
And
what a triumph.
And it's kind of like the start of our relationship at the same time. So I guess I got to give it up to that show.
Was it as cool as I want to believe that it was?
You gotta just picture what the world was like. We're talking, this is pre.
I was like 9th grade.
Yeah, we were in college.
I thought Kid A was fucking phenomenal when I heard it in 9th grade. Of course, I had never heard Aphex Twin. I was just like, this is beautiful. The first time I heard the title track, I was like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, and for that to be, back when being number 1 on the Billboard charts was a big deal, for that to break through and become the number 1 album was crazy. Was a strange time.
Really phenomenal.
It was an achievement, yeah, definitely. But yeah, there's a lot of shows like that. I'll just chalk it up to that one, Kid A 2000.
Wow, that's a hell of an answer.
Well, do you guys have any? You can make it about me, but do you have?
You can make it about me. I saw. Skelly's gonna squash every answer that I give. I saw The Locust in 2007. Broken Social Scene, I think I saw in 2006. That was a fucking phenomenal show. Broken Social Scene live is phenomenal. That's a hard one, bud. Those two are like some of the stuff. Saw Blood Brothers live once. They were phenomenal.
Yeah, I just go with the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah. Never did see Godspeed You Black Emperor, but a Silver Mount Zion was pretty phenomenal. Chris?
Nice.
Seeing Giant Claw play at Electronicon recently.
Oh,
That was amazing.
Oh,
Keith is a genius. That was amazing.
I miss that.
The music stopped. Whoops. Did you ever see Blank Banshee when he was...
I did. Yeah, he was fun.
My shit is cutting out again. Yeah, I've never seen anybody hit a pad that fast in my life.
Yeah, he was doing his thing. It was fun.
All right, we've got a pinned question by Patch Notes. What is your favorite? Love Patch Notes. What's your favorite 2010s era chillwave?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great question.
Yeah. Probably the one that I listened to the most was that Neon Indian one. I don't know what the name of the album is called, but
Psychic Chasms or Era Extraña?
I think it's the Psychic Chasms one. And there was a song on there that had no vocals on it. It was just a loop, maybe like a 1.5 minute loop it was magic. Whatever he was doing with that little, it's the kind of, you hear it and it gives you those Brian Eno tickles. You're just like, wow, this is incredible. But I probably listen to that one the most. But I'm not too familiar with a lot of the people that were, just the ones I mentioned earlier.
Did you listen to much Small Black or Picture Plane?
No, I'm aware
Not so
of them
much.
now, but I don't think I wasn't completely off of my radar. But
Boy,
I said, my radar.
obsessed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just I have a very small. I just don't. I actually like a lot of stuff that would not fit into whatever.
What do you like a lot of?
Is.
So what do you like a lot of them?
Well, Tom Petty.
Interesting.
I like a lot of Tom Petty. I like a lot of Soundgarden. I like
Soundgarden and Tom Petty.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I really this week, the Pixies' "Here Comes Your Man." It is such an amazing track. I cannot believe how good of a track. And I know that they probably hated that track because it was so poppy, but that kind of stuff. I'll listen to that all the time.
Honestly, dude, anytime Sugar Ray comes on at work, I'm just like,
what?
I don't know.
What?
Judge me all you want, but it just
Sugar
reminds me of
Ray?
like the happiest parts of childhood.
Sugar
Or just like
Ray
being in
reminds you of
junior
the
high.
happiest parts of childhood.
Yeah, just Sugar
Interesting.
Ray is some good like SoCal music. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big Gin Blossoms fan myself when it comes to.
They play a lot of Gin
good
Blossoms
music.
at my job too. That like
Yeah.
golden baritone, that was so.
What do you guys like the band Collective Soul? Anybody know that one?
Of course, Collective Soul. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh,
Not
Heaven
as
Let Your
familiar
Light
as I would
Shine
like.
Down.
Yeah.
Which was the Don't Think About. Don't turn your head.
I watched
now, baby, just spit me out.
Yeah. I
Oh,
watched
I
the
know,
Sheryl Crow documentary recently. I like
Okay.
her.
Cheryl Crow. That's
Cheryl
interesting.
Crow. Okay.
How about Cheryl Crow?
Cheryl Crow. She's great.
I didn't know
I'll
Lex
listen
had a
to a lot of
signed
stuff.
Gin Blossoms drumstick. What?
Amazing. What the heck? I just,
30 feet away from me. I didn't know that shit.
Huh? I love the Gin Blossom. I listen to Allison Road every day. That's a great song.
Sweet. And I like the Sugar Ray stuff too. I had fond memories of my friend's dad teaching us how to play Fly by Sugar Ray because he owned a music shop called Atlee Pro Music, and he was just this music guy. We didn't know music, and we could play him the song, and he would figure it out in front of us, and we were just blown away that you could just listen to something and play it within 5 or 10 minutes of doing that. So I just remember there being a magic trick going off in front of me with that song when Mr. Fitzgerald did that.
It has come to my attention that Ronnie Vaporspace opened for Gin Blossoms
What?
in undergrad, I guess. That's
Amazing.
wow. Holy shit. We've got a question that's been pinned for a little while, and it stems from a debate that we had in the Discord server. You really got to jump in there, Skelly. It's wild. Doohickey Goop would like to know your opinion on the fast food chain Arby's.
My opinion?
Do you like to eat at Arby's?
Not
yes,
anymore.
I'm asking this.
Not anymore. But I will. I do remember.
Wrong answer.
I'm Chick-fil-A. That's like the only one I'll go to, really. Is Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
That's the only one.
No, I mean, I will go to other things, but Taco Bell has gone down so much. And
It has.
it is not what it used to once be.
All right. So what's the shittiest fast food restaurant? And then I'll let Chris ask an actual question.
No, I'm interested to hear what's going up with this stuff too. Yeah, let's see what they hear the answer with.
I don't know. What is shittiest?
I don't need much fast food anymore.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to know what you thought about this too, Skelly.
Probably like Burger King or Wendy's. I don't really
Shittiest?
like those very
Okay.
much. The only ones I ever eat at are McDonald's occasionally, and
I mean, that Impossible Whopper ain't bad. Just saying.
I don't really like fast food that much. I'll eat McDonald's. McDonald's is good. I like that one. And I used to like Taco Bell a lot when I was younger, but I've
Right.
apparently it's gone downhill.
I feel like that's something you age out of, but apparently, I don't know.
I just don't. I just know it's gonna hurt me if I eat it.
Yeah, I know it's going to hurt
me.
you.
I know it's gonna be a bad thing. I know my I'm older.
That was funny.
I'm
I
gonna
know
eat
it's
this.
gonna hurt me.
It's gonna be bad. Like I'm
That
gonna
sounded
feel
way
sick.
deeper than it
Yeah,
was.
It's gonna make me like sick and bad, and like I just stay away from it.
I agree with Skelly. It's a guilty pleasure. It's a once in a while thing.
Yeah,
It's not
I'm like,
something that you want to have a lot of.
Yeah, it's like I'll drive. This is actually I like fast food, and I'll drive past it and be like maybe, and then I'm like, I don't know, bro, is it worth it? Like you're gonna get sick, you're gonna feel bad. Like you're getting older, man. Probably shouldn't do these sorts of things.
True.
Shouldn't do this. I'm like, no. I'm just gonna get like a turkey sandwich or something. Let's just do that instead.
Do you have a real question for Whitewoods before
I have a real question for
pop
Whitewoods.
another one from the chat?
Sure. So let's talk about synthesizers. Are you a fan of them?
Please.
Do you have any? Is there one that you like the most?
Yeah. Let's see. The one I like the most.
What do you like?
No, I can't say there's one I like the most. Although,
Which
my
one gets the
latest
most
thing.
action?
Say that again.
Which one gets the most action from you? Which is your workhorse?
Well, I gotta look at it. Hang on. This one right here. This is the last one I bought. It's the JD08, which is this Roland 90s synthesizer.
You see?
It's not like the JD08.
Oh, okay, interesting choice.
There was a JD08, I don't think that came out, but it was called an 800, JD 800 or something like that. But that's got a lot of sounds in it that you can only really hear. I mean, I remember hearing it back in the early 90s. It was just like this new thing. You'd hear it in TV commercials and things like that.
That's interesting. It's
my
just an
first
interesting selection too for your yeah. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, my first synthesizer I got off of eBay for $500. I bought a Moog Prodigy.
Wow.
And
$500.
I know, right? You could just
What?
it's crazy.
That's insane.
I know. I don't have it anymore, but that was my first synth. I have back here. I've got a couple synths like this one. Let me see what I have right here. That right there is the monopoly. The chord. This is a Behringer reproduction of the chord monopoly.
Wow.
That was
interesting.
That was a really fun one. And yeah, I can name off all the ones I have if you want to. But a really good one that everybody always loves is the Casio SK1. I played that so much.
Casio SK. I love the Casio SK1. Mine is, I have the one of the circuit bent ones, and I love that.
Yeah.
I've used it on so many different songs.
Yeah, that's actually the first experience I ever had of sampling was with that keyboard, the sampling keyboard right there. So, a lot of the stuff that I would use, I would just use VSTs. But lately, I've been getting into more of the physical hardware, kind of finding hardware that I used to have that I didn't have anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, synths are great.
Quick question. Is there any way you could move your screen so that people could
Sure.
see your hardware a little better? Are you on like a desktop?
Yeah, sure, I'll try. I'm on an iMac, but it's really light.
Are you sure? Damn.
Yeah, I can try.
I almost feel guilty for asking because I've got
No, it's
you.
okay.
I've got you cropped. Okay. Thank
You can see-
this man, such an angel. Thank you.
Yeah. you're looking at a couple of Yamaha refaces, the Yamaha Reface CS and a DX,
And
Yamaha
a Super
DX
Mario Brothers
thing.
3 ad in the background behind that.
Yeah. Up there's the SK1. You can't really see it, but
I can
an
see it.
Arturia Micro Freak is up there.
Hmm.
Arturia Micro Freak fans. I don't know if anybody has this. And yeah, you can see the monopoly.
Thank you, man.
Nice,
People
nice.
love the hardware chat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it back in here.
Can I ask another question?
Please do.
How did you get involved in the split the project with Ahero? My buddy Ahero.
I would like to know that too. Oh no, his audio shit out.
No.
I'm sorry, bud. I made you pick up the computer and then we lost your
Oh
audio.
no. What are we gonna do? You sent him a text.
Hello?
Yeah,
gotcha.
we can hear you.
You're back.
I'm sorry,
lost
you don't
the
have to
audio
pick
for
up
a
your
second.
computer again.
Okay.
Uh,
It's okay. It's okay. I got
yeah,
it.
how did you get started with Ahero?
I think I saw a video that Pad Channington made, and I left a
Nice.
comment in there referencing the Joseph Campbell book, A Hero with 1,000 Faces. And he talked to me. I talked to him over some form, email maybe. And I don't even remember how it happened. It was so effortless, whatever we did. It was, he sent me something, I sent him something back. Gosh, it seems like it was so long ago. But he was just really open to doing anything. And I was I didn't really want to do anything at that time unless it was with somebody else. Because I've been doing things alone for so long. And it was a real nice change of pace to collaborate on something with somebody. And I think we had a good time doing it, even though I didn't get to meet him until last year at Electronicon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun one. We got to make up
Hell
some
yeah.
stuff.
Would he write a song and then you would add something to it, or did you have something done and you'd send it to him? How was the process?
Yeah, I think it was probably mutually both. I can't really remember how it all started. I think I had maybe one thing that I sent him. I don't even remember. It's hard to remember who started what, but it was one of those things where what I remember the most about it was that it was very fluid and fun and easygoing. Those are the best when you're just like, I like what he does, he likes what I do, and then you get the mixture of both flavors into whatever that a Slow Summer EP was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good.
That was a very cool moment.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
Question from Cardi and Matsu.
Shows with him before. Yeah. Good dude.
He does throw a good show. Question from Cardi and Matsu. Whitewoods, do you recommend Audacity?
No, I don't think so. But I have used it. Yeah, I can't say I'd recommend it though. Do you guys recommend Audacity?
I do not produce music. That's a great question for Skelly.
I only use Ableton.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever used.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're doing, I guess. If you are making sample-based.
I heard it's
vaporwave,
hard to use.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's it's just not for
I
me.
can't recommend it
but
because I don't know how to use it.
It's not as intuitive as something like Ableton, I think. But I'm not a hater. I just wouldn't recommend it.
Well,
Thanks for the questions.
appreciate
by
the
way,
realness.
guys.
No problem. We've got one from Alvadonet. I probably botched that name. They want to know what your favorite album that you've made is.
Oh, wow. Well, I've only made a few. Let's see. Last year I put together all these singles that I was releasing after, I guess it's between 2017 and 2019. I remember thinking after the second album, I'm just going to do singles because it takes so long when you're making an album to get it all together and put them out there. And I just wanted to make it and put it out, and remember thinking to myself, yeah, just forget about albums. But then after a while, I started to look back at it. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of looking back at the whole thing. And I thought about putting it all together and collecting it into an album called Frodo Vision, which I don't know why I haven't done this until now.
It's an interesting name.
But, well, this is Frodo right here. I don't know if you guys are aware about Frodo, but he's kind of the spokes puppet.
I mean, I
for
noticed him in your
Whitewoods.
visuals.
Yeah, he came from the video, the Whitewoods video, Beach
Okay.
Walk.
That's cool.
Some fans named him, and he's just been this personality.
So you made an album called
behind
Frodo
Whitwood.
Vision.
Made an album called Frodo Vision. I guess I'll call it my favorite. I mean, Spaceship Earth will probably be my true favorite, because to me that was Scott and I's thing. It was something that only could happen with both of us doing what we were doing at that particular moment, and it was a lightning in the bottle, as they say. So picking favorites is it's fun, but like I said, it just changes all the time. I don't really think about that stuff, to be honest. I don't really think about stuff that's a favorite. I just think of it as all my favorite, or none of them are my favorite. I don't know.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
And
Skelly?
I'm looking at your shirt right there. I was noticing it. There's a song, I could say this is one of my favorite songs that I did. There's a song called Friend Zone
Oh, nice.
on the second album, Play the Game, that is probably the funniest thing that I've ever made.
The funniest thing?
Yeah, I'm
Sick.
not very funny. I try to be funny if I can, but it's not something that's natural.
I envy people that
skill of
are
mine.
truly funny.
Same. I love
like
people.
3D
Everybody
Blast,
loves
like, damn.
Yeah. But that particular song, I do have a soft spot for, because of its subject matter.
In the friend zone.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what that is.
Yeah, true. All right, so the questions in the chat are popping off again.
Can I ask this one from Strip Silence? Did you listen to Games, Ford and Lopan?
I have no idea what
Oh
you're talking
no, it's these side projects by One O Tricks Point Never, and are kind of in vein of stuff that you do.
No, I don't.
Really?
I'm not aware.
You never listen to games?
Well, I might have to send you a link for some stuff to check out.
I think you'd like it.
Okay. Yeah, send it my way.
Pacific Plaza says, Sheets or Wawa?
Wawa. Give me the Wawa. Or like go to Fastmart. That was what
Fast
I was
or none of the above. Fastmart.
Yeah, not Fastmart. F-A-S-Mart.
Fastmart? What the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what they have around
what
here.
will they think
used
of
to.
next?
Yeah,
When
right.
all the other names are taken.
Yeah. Sheets or Wawa? No, I go with Wawa. Sure.
Lux
How about
Elite.
Costco? You guys like Costco?
Yeah, that's kind of.
You
a
know
whole
what?
different
All right.
thing.
Do you have a Winco in Richmond?
Mm,
Because Winco
no.
is the shit. It's employee owned. It's 24 hours, and their meat is cheap as hell. I miss Winco.
Winco, no.
If you don't have a Winco, damn. F.
No, we don't. That's too bad. No, we don't have
Yeah.
those. We used to have stuff like Winn-Dixies. Those are gone.
I do remember Winn-Dixie.
You remember Winn-Dixies?
Yeah.
And Circuit Cities.
Oh, dude.
Actually, Circuit City
do you remember
was,
Comp
was
USA?
headquartered here. Yeah, Comp USA.
Oh, my God.
Good old Comp USA.
Radio Shack.
All those places.
Everybody remembers Radio Shack.
Oh,
Winco
yeah.
is only... What? No, there was a Win... I don't like what Strip Silence said in chat. Lux Elite wants to know, what is your favorite commercial and or series of commercials?
Favorite series of
question.
commercials. I do like fruit roll-up commercials a lot. And I don't know why. I think just seeing the gummy treats
Wow.
on TV, they really match. Pop-Tart commercials, too. There are just certain things. Cereal commercials are probably up there as, like, the best commercials to
You're not wrong, dude.
watch.
That and, like
No.
kids' toys. fucking like
Oh, yeah.
super soaker commercials, bro, or like the
Yeah,
creepy
yeah.
crawlies. You remember creepy crawlies? You can make your own like spider candy.
Yeah, slip and slides and all that stuff. It's the commercials were glorious back then.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if I come up with any, I'll let you know. Let me think. Oh, let's see. Yeah, nothing's popping in my head. Those are it.
Mentos had some pretty good commercials. It was always like people, they would sit down like on a park bench that had wet paint and be like, "Oh man, I sat on wet paint." Someone would give them Mentos
yeah.
and they'd be so fucking happy.
I always
I want the happiness that those people had.
my favorite commercials were those weird ones for like the CK1 fragrances that were strange and like they're like always like weird and meta, and they were like this like strange performance art pieces. Anybody remember these? The CK1 commercials.
Yeah, vaguely.
They're like all like very like David Lynchian almost.
Mhm. Yeah, you got that college film student vibe to them.
Yeah, I love those ones. Those were really weird.
Yeah, are commercials that big a deal anymore?
I also
Isn't
like
it more
I
important
also
to go
like the old
viral?
PSA. I always like the old PSA commercials too that were like weird and sort
Yeah.
of like, scary. Like it's like people getting behind the wheel of the car after they drink, and then like lightning strikes and everyone's a skeleton inside the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
I
are
always
good.
love to trot out that old favorite from Great Britain from like the 60s where it was like, "I am the spirit of dead and lonely water." And it was like, kids don't go swimming in bodies of water that you don't recognize. And it's creepy as fuck. It's like Boards of Canada wave, like
Yeah.
creepy. You
Are you a
know?
big fan of Boards of Canada, Whitewoods?
Yeah, I remember them. I think I had one of their albums, but I can't really remember exactly
Interesting.
which one. No, I never saw them live though.
Well,
I think I was more
they've
into
ever played.
Stereo
I don't think
Lab.
Yeah, I don't think they have.
they've ever
Did you
played
say
live.
Stereo Lab? Okay.
Yeah.
Some good love for
They never
Stereo
played
Lab.
live? I don't know.
Boards of Canada? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so.
All right. Well, yeah, that's Stereo Lab was kind of. I had more of their CDs, I think. Music is there's so much it's hard to even remember what it was. But back in those days, I remember liking what I heard with Boards of Canada. Are they really like a hidden gem to people when they hear
Not
this
so much
stuff?
a hidden gem as like worshipped greatly. by most
It's
people.
like one of
cool.
those acts, Whitewoods, that almost every heavy vaporwave head will
Very into
know
them.
about.
People
And be like,
adore,
oh,
huge
yeah.
cult following for Boards of Canada.
Like,
huge cult following. They're a
they
big
kinda-
inspiration on me too. Yeah,
Yeah, they kind of had
big
that.
following.
Yeah,
like
I don't even
them-
really know how to embody.
Yeah, like Boards of Canada has a big following here. 106 Point Never, James Ferraro. These people, like this is like holy ground. It's not even a hidden gem. It's like almost a universal thing with people in this scene. For the most
Okay.
part. It's But
Beautiful.
but you should check him out a little bit more, then, sir. Get on. Music Has the Right to Children.
Music
I would
okay.
agree with that. I think Music Has the Right to Children is the best, like, overall representation of their sound.
Easily.
You know, because Geo Gotti's too creepy, Trans Canada Highway's too guitar-y. In a Beautiful Place Out in the Country is nice and short if you want something like an EP.
Okay.
But you know, everybody's got a different opinion.
Do you guys you guys know about this band Polyphia? It's kind of like a
Maybe I feel like
prog metal
Do
prog
not
band.
metal.
prog metal. Interesting. No, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, that's just one of the
People in
latest.
chat are going crazy
CDs
about
I
it.
People are going, yeah.
Okay.
wow.
Very
Yeah,
gent like influenced.
I think of it as the chops this guy has on the guitar. If you like listening to virtuosos at their instrument, you have four guys that they're doing something that is, so impressive that even if you're not a fan of the genre, which I don't really listen to prog stuff very much, you kind of have to pull over and pay them a little bit of respect. But I'm just trying to think, because you guys are naming off names of things that I don't really know about. I'm just
Welcome
remembering
to
the
my
things
world.
that I've been listening to lately, and they have a new album. I think it's called "Remember One Day That You Will Die." That's the name of the album that I recommend if anybody's looking for something that's
Dude,
at least
thank you.
My ear.
Thank you for a recommendation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's interesting. I never would have come across that band in my entire life. Wow.
Oh yeah, check it out. That's this. They got some good videos too. One's called "Playing God," and I think the other one is called "Ego Death" with Steve Vai. You know, the guitar player.
Of course, yeah.
But and they're just doing something that I'd never heard done before, and you know, I like it. I like what I hear.
Interesting. Appreciate the
I'll take that.
recommendations, sir.
Sure.
We got a great question from Pacific Plaza, who would like to know if you like guitar pedals. If you do, what's on your pedal board, and what sort of amp or guitar setup do you have?
First off, thanks everybody for sending questions. I'm kind of amazed that there's so many questions.
We get
coming
like
in.
very high participation,
Yeah.
audience participation on this
Okay.
show. People love it. That's the whole. That's the
We'll
whole
get to
fun
know
of
you
the
on a
show,
personal
too.
level later because we got questions to bang
Okay.
through.
No, I'm so appreciative of everybody that's tuning in.
Everyone's very interested.
I don't have any guitar pedals because I use a Kemper profiling amplifier, which has so many effects built into it that I just use those effects for all the guitar stuff I do. But if you go back in time to when I was a kid starting off, the guitar pedals that I would use back then, I'd have a couple of distortion boxes, the fuzz face, the rat pedal. Those are kind of classic ones. And, you know, your Boss's DD5 for some digital delay, a flanger would be a good one that I remember I bought a flanger on the day that Jerry Garcia died from a guy in the trading post. You know, like the trading post, you would get this sheet of people selling stuff. It's kind of like a classified ads thing. And you call them up on the telephone and you'd schedule a time where you'd come to your house and you'd buy something off of them. But those are probably, and a wah-wah, Crybaby wah-wah. That's a good pedal. But yeah, since emulation, amp emulation and software effects, I've just mostly
Kind of moved away.
stuck to those things.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
that's about it.
We're caught up on chat questions. Amazing.
Okay, good. Well then, let's see if we can talk about talk about you guys.
You got any good
How long-
ones, Skelly? Or
What?
do I need to ask him a silly one?
You need to. I think you go with some silly ones.
Okay.
Unless Whitewoods has questions.
Who's
for
somebody
us.
that you would recommend that we bring on this show, Whitewoods? Shout somebody out.
Well, bring out Ahero. I think he could.
Bring on a
he'd love to
hero.
Talk to you guys.
Yeah, we definitely.
I got to open for a hero. Great kid.
Oh, there you go. There's your
I shouldn't
in.
call him a kid. He's just significantly younger than me, but very skilled individual is what I should say.
Well,
Because it's
I'd like
true.
to ask y'all some questions. Like,
Oh
how
my
long have
gosh.
You guys,
Oh, we got a Keith
Well,
Rankin
yeah, I mean,
on our
we-
hands.
Yeah, let's do it.
how long have you all known each other? Have you guys been
Oh my
friends for
God.
a while?
Long time. Isaac, what do you think? Like 2011
So
or 12?
I think I met Skelly online in probably like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't get to meet him IRL until Electronicon 2 when I was standing in line with my friend Haley, and he and Ronnie from Vaporspace walked up, and as soon as I saw him, it was like, "It's you!"
Yeah.
And he walked right up to me. It made me, I felt like $1 million. He walked right up to me.
Yeah.
And we decided to start the show because he's got great opinions about music. He's got a really diverse taste in music. And we find that despite our small disagreements, we really overlap quite a bit. And,
A lot. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
For sure.
yeah, so we both really
That's
enjoy
cool.
talking about. The funny thing is like we both love vaporwave, but the most fun thing, in my opinion, Chris, is to like ask people about seeing Radiohead live, or like I joked around with you last night, Whitewoods, about favorite Animal Collective album. That's my favorite
Yeah.
thing to
Oh, yeah.
talk about. Is
That's a
like
good
what-
one. That's a good one.
Yeah, like bringing up Boards of Canada, and who did you say? I think you said Tom Petty.
Yeah, Tom Petty.
Did you say Tom Petty, or am I going crazy?
Yeah,
He
Tom
says-
Petty.
Yeah.
100%
Just like
says
that
Tom
kind of stuff
Petty.
is fun for me to talk about.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
that-
to get to
okay.
the those things, those sort of hidden tastes. It's always an
So
interesting thing to explore.
Did either one of you ever work for a record store or a college radio station? Because you sound like
No,
you
I never
would
did.
fit in.
Are you
those
serious? Wow.
scenarios.
No, I never did. I
I
wrote for
never-
the school news, not school news, for my college's newspaper though. I
Really?
did those, like little blurbs for about upcoming shows and stuff occasionally.
That's cool. I didn't know that about you. Okay.
I did that for a little bit.
There you go.
So I was in I was a radio TV major in undergrad. So yeah, I was on college radio and I was the world's most nervous DJ. And now I'm not at all anymore. And yeah, what was the other thing you said? A radio DJ or yeah, I worked for a company called Hastings.
At like a record store or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I worked for a store that had
Hastings.
like CDs and books and videos and yeah, I love media, man. This was in like the 2000s, so like, physical media was huge, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's where those conversations were really they were had there, either at a concert or you were at a record store talking to somebody about it, or at school,
I just remember like when you were in
listening.
school, somebody would be like, "Your music sucks," and you'd be like, "No, it doesn't," and it's just like, okay, well now you know why don't we talk about why it sucks or why it doesn't suck, like. You know,
Is it like that's an interesting question? Like, does music suck? Could it ever suck? Could all music?
My favorite question, Skelly assumes, is what sucks. You know, like, we actually do, on a serious note, sometimes like to ask if you believe in such thing as an objectively good or bad art.
That's interesting.
I
guess I kind of do and kind of don't.
Oh, elaborate.
Well, it depends on what your criteria is. Sometimes you think of things that are objectively good are the ones that are universally experienced. You know, that to me,
good
can
point.
appeal. You cross languages, you cross generations. I think that's a good gauge for whether something is considered to be objectively good. When you get to the universal level, which in my opinion is kind of the highest level that you can attain, then yeah, you might be able to say it's objectively good. But at the same time, everybody has a different taste. Just like think of dating. You know, you meet people. Some people you meet, you get a good vibe with, and other people you meet, and you feel like you go your way, I'll go mine. And it's not like that person sucks. It's just doesn't vibe with you. And you're not going to like everybody you meet. You're not going to like every song you meet. But even with people that I meet that I don't necessarily get along with, I still choose to like them for them being themselves and just recognizing that people are different. And I appreciate the more different people there are, I think the better. The better our world really could be, instead of wanting everybody to be just like you or think just like you or anything like that. So yeah, sometimes I think there is objectively good things, but then sometimes I'm like, what's great to me might not be great to everybody else. Just like today, I was talking to my mom. She saw the Oscars last night, and a movie won Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I saw the film, and I recognized how unique a film it was, but I didn't emotionally connect to it so much like I did with other films that came out. It's just like that. Obviously, I could recognize its impressive qualities, but it's not for everybody,
Right.
For everyone all at once.
Or
Another
everyone all at
A24
once,
film.
Is that really? Oh yeah, I remember the first time I ever I think I had a comment with you over A24 films. I had to look up what is an A24 film.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Please
I
elaborate.
know what he's talking about, but I didn't know. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, Midsommar is an A24 film.
The Lighthouse.
It's
The
good.
Lighthouse.
It's
Something
good.
else, I
It's
don't
not
know.
good movies. It's just that there's other movie production companies out there too, guys. We could not design our whole personality around one.
Yeah, it was. I laughed at that because I instantly got a picture in my head of somebody. It was funny. It was like, I probably was that guy. I could have been that guy if I was, 20 years younger or whatever.
We all could have been that guy. Yeah, right. I understand. Absolutely.
But yeah, that was funny. I didn't know that was an
Thank
A20
you.
form fill either.
Oh my goodness. All right, we gotta start doing some shout outs.
Yes, let's go ahead and get our shout outs done, Skelly. Thank you. We have a 5-minute time limit where you can shout anybody out or anything out or promote or just say whatever you want. Don't hold anything back.
Okay, well, let me. I thought that there would be a question that asked me, like, well, what are the vaporwave people that you love the most and all that stuff?
What is vaporwave? How about what's vaporwave?
Boy, if we had time, we would have asked it. Let's hear it.
I don't know what. I don't know. Vaporwave, to me, when I heard it, I thought about cannabis. I thought about cannabis vapor. But I know that's probably not what people think when they think of vaporwave. I find it's a...
What is vaporwave to you, now that you know a little bit about it?
It's a convenient box to put people in. And I think there's one thing that... And maybe you guys can chime in. I think one thing that unites all the things that we think of as vaporwave is the sense of nostalgia.
Of course.
Nostalgia seems to be inseparable from what my perception of that whole umbrella term is about. Yeah. At least that's how I interact with it when it gets thrown around, and I don't reject it. I think it's a great way to connect with other people.
For sure.
And similar interests. But I brought a little show and tell here of my small vaporwave collection. Let's start off. When we're talking about Ahero, I've got his Mind Murals cassette tape. I have a thing for white cassette tapes. I must be Whitewoods. I don't know. I've got Luxury Elite's High Society, which she let me play on her opening show. That was very cool to do that.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
And then I got the Christ AD cassette, which is just pure white. It's so white.
Wow.
It's so cool. But I think these look really interesting together.
Yeah,
they just seem to kind of pop out.
I
have a very small collection, so I can just fit it on my lap here.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
I love that it's like aesthetically united too. That's kind
I'm definitely a fan of all three too.
Yeah, it's something about that. Just I wanted to hold it. It makes me want to hold it. This one right here, I just got the other day. The FM Skyline.
Ooh, the MIDI Wave Quarterly.
Gray.
Nope, that's not MIDI Wave Quarterly. That's Memory Suite.
There's just something about the grayness of the picture, and then the vinyl has this gray vinyl. I just love the monotone look of it, and the album sounds great too. I was playing it for my friends the other day.
Nice.
And then the last one I got, I know we're running out of time. I got the Skylar Spence Fiona Coyne 45.
All right.
Because it's got the baby blue color on the vinyl, and the song is great, but I especially love the name Fiona because that's my daughter's name.
That's such a beautiful name. Very regal.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing. She's amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to throw those out there before we end the whole thing.
Thank you for throwing that out.
Yeah, love it. Have you got anything coming up that we need to know about? Any live shows, live stream events, album drops?
I really just wanted to push people to see The Wizard Rescored.
Yeah.
Think of it like, if you got a girlfriend, a significant other, you watch TV. It's about a 50-minute episode of Game of Thrones or something, but it's a vaporwave VHS experience where you can relive the wizard in, I think, a unique way that presents it in its best form. I mean, maybe I'm being presumptuous to think it's the best form, but it is the form that I like to watch the movie through. And if you don't mind seeing a puppet talk to you and rhyme every now and again, kind of stitching it all together, it's worth it. It's worth your time, but you have to kind of go off.
Fun.
I'm excited to check it out later. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go off road to see it though. That's the one thing. So
Lux linked
if I
it
can push
in
people
chat
to that.
again at odyssey.com. Thank you, Lux. Lux
Yes,
fell
thanks,
asleep
Lux.
when I showed her the wizard, so maybe the wizard rescored is in the cards for us in the future.
That would be great. I would love to hear that story of you guys watching that together. And I do believe it's at a length where it can keep your attention for that amount of time, and you get the best of that experience of 1989 on your phone or on your TV screen.
Yeah, buddy.
But
All I got-
This was a lot of fun, guys. I really had a good time.
Oh man, I'm
We had
so
a great
glad
time.
you did. We're so
Yeah,
indebted
man.
to you.
We love talking to you.
We
Done.
would love to talk. Personally, I'll say I would love to talk more in the future as well.
Absolutely. No, 100%.
Got the
Sure.
got the Whitewoods Discord, by the way. I can't link it right at the moment, but if anyone has a link, drop it in chat. Skelly, all I got coming up is Vapor Shave next Saturday. You and I are both on it. 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 stages. Twitch.tv/Utopia District and twitch.tv/Daydream Deluxe. I don't know if there's an underscore between Daydream and Deluxe, but next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, it's St. Pepsi, Christ, Luxury Elite, myself, Skelly, and a lot of heavyweights with some good material. I'm doing a 30-minute 80s R&B DJ set. Very poignant, very romantic set. Skelly, I think you'll like it. Indy's doing my visuals, so it's a callback to the Care set where I opened for you and Lux as Lipstick Elite. Some cool IRL stuff going on down the road. Can't say anything, but some very cool things. You guys should keep your eyes open to the Midwest and the Northeast. That's all I can say.
All right. My turn?
Yeah, please.
Sure. Got a new song, The Price I Pay. That's out on streaming services, but also on the Pacific Winter compilation by Coast to Coast Collective. Obviously, I have that Patch Notes remix that's out right now. Obviously, you can go on Needle Juice Records and buy my album, Glows and Melts, on either Glow in the Dark vinyl or Splattery vinyl. And I believe there are some cassettes left for my other project, Probably Not Vampire, on Business Casual label. And live events, Terminally Chill is returning. The Vaporwave Dance Party is returning to Philadelphia.
That's right.
In January, February, March, April, May 4th. May 4th. And then prior to that, April 28th will be the party I do called Eclipse, where I play wave music and witch house music and dark pop stuff like churches and Fury Ring and stuff. And
Hell yeah.
and funk. I play funk at that party too. So that's also coming up. And I will also be at the Vapor Shave events. I'm finishing up my visuals for that right now as we speak. Gonna play a bunch of new songs from the next Skeleton Lipstick album. Bunch of dark shit on that one. So
Nice.
check it out.
I've heard a little bit of it, and it sounds pretty promising.
Sweet.
And I think that's good. That's good for me.
Well, we're over time,
Oh.
but I want to thank everybody who tuned in, especially Whitewoods.
Yeah.
The pleasure was ours. And
Absolutely.
anybody that subbed or donated or joined the Discord during the show, thank you, especially. Episode will be up on YouTube and podcasting services within the week. Don't forget to, if you feel so led, donate. That's !donate. All donations go towards the stream, towards output, towards commissioning your friends. Money goes back to the community. Don't forget to follow us on all socials. That's Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the above. I'll go ahead and drop it in here. Linktree/Hot Takes Vapor. Invite your friends. And last but not least, before everybody gives a warm goodbye to Whitewoods, tune in 2 weeks. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, March 27th for an evening with Skelly Shiro and King Quartz.
Yes.
Thank you so
very
much, everybody. And Whitewoods, you are a real one for being here with us tonight.
Oh, God. So much fun. Thank you, buddy.
Had a great
Talk
time.
more in the future.
Same.
All right.
We're going to
Best
roll
to
the
you
ad
guys.
for the upcoming Vaporspace show. Go see Vaporspace in St. Louis if you can. And everybody have a good night.
Right.